Heavenly Father, in your sacred presence we place ourselves at this moment. Our hearts seek your light, and our souls yearn for your guidance, particularly concerning the bonds that tie us to one another. We inhabit a world where human connections are tested in myriad ways, where misunderstandings can flourish, and where distance, both physical and emotional, can settle like a veil between us and those we hold dear. The pursuit of blessed relationships, those that mirror your unconditional love, your patience, and your understanding, is a perpetual journey, often fraught with challenges that seem insurmountable. We acknowledge that you are the God of all relationships, the architect of family ties, of deep friendships, and of marital love. You have commanded us to love our neighbor as ourselves, an ideal we frequently struggle to attain amidst our own imperfections and frailties. There are times when we feel lost within the labyrinth of human emotions, when words wound rather than heal, when actions seem distant from our desires, when expectations go unmet, and silence becomes an abyss of uncertainty. It is in this very landscape, Father, that we seek your transformative touch. We are not here to petition for flawless relationships, for we know that perfection resides solely with you. Rather, we seek the grace to navigate imperfections, to find beauty within fragility, and to construct bridges of understanding where walls once stood. Our intention is to cultivate in our relationships the essence of your love, a love that is patient, that is kind, that does not envy, that does not boast, that is not proud, that is not easily angered, that keeps no record of wrongs, that does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. This is the truth we aspire to live, the reality that, with your assistance, we aim to manifest in every interaction, whether spouse, child, parent, sibling, friend, or colleague. Each relationship carries immense potential to glorify your name, to serve as a reflection of your kingdom on earth. Yet, we also recognize the potential for hurt, for disillusionment, and for estrangement when these ties are devoid of your wisdom and your love. Our own actions and words, sometimes spoken thoughtlessly, sometimes born of a wounded heart, can create fissures that are difficult to mend. And even when our intentions are noble, our limited humanity can lead us to falter, to stumble, and to hurting those we cherish. Therefore, we cry out to you, Lord. In a world that often champions individualism and self-preservation, it's facile to overlook the imperative of nurturing and safeguarding the relationships entrusted to us. We must learn to look beyond mere appearances, to perceive others through the lens of compassion, and to extend forgiveness with the same magnanimity with which we receive it from you. The path to blessed relationships is not one of self-sufficiency, but rather one of absolute reliance on you, the sole entity who truly comprehends each individual's heart. It is in this spirit of humility and trust that we embark upon this prayerful journey, seeking your divine intervention. We beseech your Holy Spirit to guide us in every word, every thought, and every action we undertake within our relationships. May your presence be the bedrock upon which we construct trust, respect, and mutual affection. May your truth dismantle the falsehoods and doubts that may arise, and may your light dissipate the darkness of misunderstanding and resentment. We stand ready to be sculpted by your loving hands, to be instructed by your eternal wisdom, to experience the fullness of the relationships you intend for us. Lord our God, human experience demonstrates that communication is the vital artery of any relationship. However, the capacity to articulate our thoughts and feelings with clarity, respect, and efficacy is a skill that frequently eludes us. How often, due to a lack of attentive listening, have we failed to grasp the essence of the message directed at us, responding only to the superficiality of words? Cultivating the ability to listen not merely with our ears, but with our hearts, comprehending underlying emotions and unexpressed needs, is a continuous learning process that leads us to a more profound level of connection. Thus, we implore your grace to render us more patient and discerning listeners, those who genuinely seek to understand before seeking to be understood. Furthermore, verbal expression, when devoid of empathy, can transform into a weapon capable of inflicting deep wounds. It is all too easy, in the rush of daily life or under the sway of intense emotion, to utter harsh words, destructive criticism, or accusations that erect insurmountable barriers. We therefore require divine wisdom to modulate our tone, select our words with care, and express our own needs and frustrations constructively without assigning blame or disqualifying the other. May your hand guide us so that, instead of attacking, we choose to build. Instead of condemning, we choose to welcome with love and truth. Another crucial layer in building solid relationships lies in the ability to manage conflicts healthily. Disagreements are inevitable, as each individual possesses their own perspective and unique experiences. What distinguishes a resilient relationship from one that succumbs to pressure is how these divergences are addressed. Instead of viewing conflict as a battle to be won, we need to learn to see it as an opportunity for mutual growth, to deepen understanding, and to strengthen bonds. Forgiveness, Father, is the bridge that allows us to cross the chasm created by a misunderstanding, and the generosity in forgiving, in removing the burden of resentment, is fundamental for the restoration of peace and intimacy. Let us now consider the vital importance of reciprocity and mutual care. Relationships are not one-way streets. They thrive when there is a balanced flow of support, affection, and consideration. Actions that demonstrate we care about the well-being of the other, even in small gestures. A sincere compliment, a listening ear, help offered without being asked. Weave a fabric of emotional security that strengthens connections. However, when one party feels perpetually overburdened or ignored, the flame of the relationship begins to dwindle. We ask, Lord, that you teach us to cultivate this attitude of service and to recognize the needs of the other, responding with promptness and genuine love, so that our relationships may be a living testament to your selfless love. At this moment, let us turn our attention to the importance of individual appreciation and recognition within relationships. Each person who crosses our path brings with them a unique story, specific gifts, and a particular way of seeing the world. Frequently, in our pursuit of relational harmony, we run the risk of diluting the individuality of the other in favor of superficial unity, or of focusing excessively on our own needs, failing to see and celebrate the singular qualities that make each being special. The absence of genuine recognition can lead to feelings of invisibility and devaluation, undermining the trust and affection that are the foundation of any lasting bond. Thus, we ask, O God of infinite wisdom, that you grant us the insight to identify and appreciate the talents, the unique virtues and contributions each person brings to our lives, thereby fortifying individuality within unity. Let us now envision a garden where each flower, with its distinct hue and form, contributes to the overall beauty. Were we to attempt to make all flowers identical, the garden would lose its richness and originality. Similarly, in our relationships, the celebration of differences, far from being an impediment, is what enriches and strengthens connection. This extends to how we express appreciation. A simple, sincere thank you, a specific compliment on a demonstrated skill, or a gesture that validates a personal achievement can have a profound impact on another's self-esteem and sense of belonging. Instead of merely acknowledging presence, let us focus on appreciating the essence, the unique way of being and acting that the other person embodies. Beyond verbal recognition, the demonstration of gratitude through concrete actions further solidifies bonds. When we dedicate time to support someone's personal projects, or when we celebrate their professional or academic victories, we are communicating that we value their journey and aspirations. Perhaps a loved one has an artistic hobby they are passionate about. An invitation to attend an exhibition or an appreciative comment on a created piece can mean far more than generic words of encouragement. Likewise, when a colleague demonstrates a particular competence in resolving a complex problem, publicly acknowledging that skill not only values them, but also fosters a more positive and collaborative work environment. Additionally, gratitude predisposes us to an attitude of generosity, which is crucial for the health of relationships. When we recognize the value and efforts of others, we become more inclined to offer our own support, time, and resources without expecting immediate reciprocation. This attitude of selfless giving builds a virtuous cycle of generosity and mutual appreciation. It's akin to investing in a precious asset. The more gratitude and recognition we invest, the stronger and more enduring the relationship becomes. May we, therefore, be instruments of your blessing, radiating appreciation and recognition that nourish and sustain the bonds that unite us, reflecting your generous love in every interaction. Lord, in our pursuit of blessed relationships, a paramount yet often overlooked aspect is the ability to manage expectations. Frequently, we project onto our loved ones who we wish them to be, or how we wish them to act in certain circumstances, without, however, having clear and honest communication about these expectations. This gap between what we project and the reality of the other can generate bitter disappointments and a feeling of mutual misunderstanding. We need to learn to discern between an inspiring vision and an implicit demand, seeking to align our hopes with the individuality and capabilities of each person. Returning to this reflection, it is fundamental to recognize that it is not always possible to meet all expectations, whether they are our own or those of the people around us. Life is dynamic, and circumstances change. A friend who at one point in life could dedicate ample time to friendship may subsequently face new professional or family responsibilities that restrict that availability. Similarly, a spouse may go through a period of transition or learning that prevents them from responding to certain emotional needs immediately. Facing these realities with flexibility and empathy, rather than rigidity and frustration, is a sign of relational maturity. Consequently, it is imperative that we cultivate the art of open and honest dialogue about what we expect and what we can offer. This requires vulnerability to express our needs, and also humility to accept that we will not always be able to satisfy all demands. Openly sharing what motivates us, what brings us joy, and what our limits are is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of trust that strengthens the foundations of the relationship. This transparent communication creates a safe space where expectations can be negotiated and adjusted, preventing future resentments. Additionally, it is crucial that we develop the capacity for relational self-assessment. From time to time, we should ask ourselves, are my expectations regarding this relationship realistic? Are they based on genuine love and the desire for mutual well-being, or on a selfish longing for validation or control? It is an exercise that calls us to introspection and course correction, allowing us to discern whether we are contributing to an environment of growth and support, or if we are inadvertently imposing unnecessary burdens on the other. This constant reflection brings us closer to more balanced and healthy relationships. In summary, managing expectations in relationships is a journey of continuous learning, which demands clear communication, flexibility in the face of change, and profound self-analysis. When we align our hopes with reality, express our needs with transparency, and accept the inherent limitations human condition, we build more resilient, gratifying, and above all, blessed relationships, reflecting your grace in our interactions. Lord, in our pursuit of blessed relationships, a paramount yet often overlooked aspect is the art of reconciliation and restoration after conflicts. Life, in its essence, is a continuous flow of interactions, and disagreements, hurts, and wounds will inevitably arise. The crucial question is not whether conflict will occur, but how we react to it, and whether we are willing to tread the path of repair. The initiative to ask for forgiveness, even when we believe the fault is not related to us, or the willingness to offer forgiveness when we have offended partner, demonstrates a level of spiritual maturity and a profound impact on the health of the relationship. Let us consider now the second dynamic approach. It is not merely about forgiveness, sorrow, or forgive me. Genuine reconciliation requires an acknowledgement of the pain caused, humility to admit one's own mistake, and a practical demonstration that we have learned from it. For instance, if in a moment of stress we lash out with harsh words at a family member, a generic apology is insufficient. True reconciliation might involve an additional gesture of affection, an attempt to understand the impact of our words on the other person, or even an effort to change our behavior in similar situations in the future. The absence of this acknowledgement and subsequent action can leave the wound open, preventing complete healing. At the same time, the capacity to forgive, even when the hurt seems deep and the injustice glaring, is a direct reflection of the grace we receive from you. Understanding that forgiveness is not forgetting what happened, but rather relinquishing the right to hold on to resentment and making space for restoration, transforms the dynamic of conflict. Let us consider the situation of a friend who, through carelessness or a lack of consideration, shared confidential information. The pain of betrayed trust can be immense. However, if we choose the path of forgiveness, we are, in effect, releasing ourselves from the heavy burden of bitterness and allowing the possibility of a future of trust to be rebuilt step by step. In this same vein, the need to cultivate an environment of emotional safety for vulnerability is non-negotiable. When the fear of judgment or rejection looms over a relationship, true intimacy is stifled. Individuals withdraw, hide their flaws, and mask their true emotions, creating a facade that impedes authentic connection. We must therefore cultivate the courage to be transparent about our imperfections, while simultaneously providing a safe harbor for others to do the same. Thus, the practice of reassuming responsibility, rather than assigning blame to another or to circumstances, is a cornerstone for restoration. When we acknowledge our part in a disagreement, however minor, we open the door to more productive and less defensive dialogue. It is an invitation for the other party to reciprocate, and together, to find a way forward. This proactive stance in seeking healing, in working to mend fractured or weakened bonds, is a concrete manifestation of the love we profess, a living testament to your transformative capacity in our lives and relationships. Holy Father, as we deepen our understanding of blessed relationships, a new horizon unfolds, that of resilience and joint growth in the face of adversity. Life presents not only moments of tranquility, but also storms that test the very foundations of our connections. It is precisely in these turbulent times that the true strength of a bond is revealed, not in the absence of problems, but in the mutual capacity to surmount them, emerging stronger and more united. Perseverance in seeking solutions, even when the path seems arduous and energies wane, is a testament to the commitment we aspire to nurture. Consider now how this resilience manifests in practice, in everyday situations that challenge harmony. Imagine a couple facing unexpected financial difficulties, such as job loss. Instead of succumbing to anxiety and blame, focusing on the problem, they can choose to unite their strengths, reassess priorities, seek new opportunities together, and offer each other unwavering emotional support. This ability to rise again, to find hope in adversity through collaboration and mutual encouragement, is what transforms a crisis into a catalyst for relationship growth. Furthermore, trust, which we have previously touched upon in other contexts, gains an even more critical dimension when discussing overcoming challenges. Trust is not merely believing in another's honesty, but extends to the conviction that, together, you are capable of facing and overcoming obstacles. This shared faith in your collective capability allows vulnerability to flourish, as each one knows the other will be present to offer support, even when the situation appears bleak. It is this trust that allows for an open sharing of fears and uncertainties, without the dread of being judged or abandoned. Another fundamental pillar for relational resilience lies in flexibility and adaptability. The world is in constant flux, and the circumstances affecting our lives are too. The people we love evolve, change their interests, face new phases of personal and professional development. An inflexible relationship, one that insists on maintaining things as they were, is destined to become obsolete, and consequently, to suffer. Conversely, the ability to adjust to new realities, to rediscover shared interests, or to support each other's individual journeys with understanding and openness, is essential for the longevity and health of the bond. Consider, for instance, a group of friends who, after years of close companionship, find themselves distanced by different professional and geographical paths. Instead of lamenting the loss of physical proximity, they might choose to adapt how they maintain contact, utilizing technology for regular video conferences, organizing annual get-togethers, or even supporting each other's new social circles. This adaptation of friendship dynamics, without sacrificing the essence of affection and respect, demonstrates remarkable resilience. Consequently, resilience doesn't arise from the absence of difficulties, but from the intentional way we choose to respond to them. It is a continuous process of learning, adjustment, and reaffirmation of mutual commitment. Rather than focusing solely on maintaining superficial peace, we should actively seek to strengthen our capacity to face challenges together, transforming trials into opportunities to deepen our connection and celebrate the strength we find in each other. It is in this spirit that we build relationships that not only survive the storms but flourish through them, honoring your will for our lives. Through a continuous perspective of improvement, the virtue of patience reveals itself as an indispensable component in building lasting and meaningful bonds. In a world that extols instant gratification and efficiency at all costs, the practice of patience in our relationships might seem an antiquated concept. However, It is precisely this ability to wait, to endure others' failings without precipitate judgment, and to allow time to act in processes of healing and growth that differentiates superficial connections from deeply rooted and resilient bonds. Patience manifests in myriad ways. It is the discernment to understand that the personal development of a loved one is a gradual process, filled with ups and downs. It is the willingness to not give up on someone when they stumble or make a mistake, but rather to offer encouragement and time for them to recover and learn. For instance, a father who patiently teaches his child to ride a bicycle, even after numerous tumbles, demonstrates this virtue. He doesn't become frustrated by the falls, but rather helps his child to get back up, adjusts the equipment, and reiterates the importance of calmly persisting. Furthermore, patience is essential in communication. How often does impatience in expressing our own opinion prevent us from attentively listening to what the other person has to say? Or conversely, impatience with someone's communication style leads us to interrupt or disregard their message. Cultivating patience in listening means giving the other person the necessary space and time to articulate their thoughts and feelings, even if it demands a bit more effort on our part. It is a sign of respect and value for the interlocutor. Another important layer is recognizing that strong bonds require time to solidify. Genuine intimacy, mutual trust, and deep understanding are not built overnight. They require consistent interactions, the sharing of experiences, both joyful and challenging, and the joint overcoming of obstacles. Impatience in this process can lead to unrealistic expectations or attempts to rush natural stages, compromising the solidity of the relational foundation being built. Imagine the patience required to cultivate a true friendship over decades, witnessing the changes in each other's lives and maintaining affection and connection, despite physical distances or different life stages. Consequently, patience is not passivity, but an active strength that chooses perseverance and understanding over impulsive reaction or discouragement. It empowers us to see beyond momentary imperfections, to recognize the potential for growth in others, and to invest in relationships with the conviction that they can strengthen over time and with dedicated care. It is a reflection of your own long-suffering towards us, Father, which encourages us to extend that same grace and perseverance to those who walk alongside us, thereby building relationships that honor your presence in our lives. As we navigate these reflections, we perceive that the essence of truly blessed relationships lies not in a magic formula or unattainable perfection, but rather in the profound and continuous journey of cultivating fertile ground where love, understanding, and respect can flourish. It's akin to observing the intricate weaving of a precious tapestry. Each thread, in its unique color and texture, contributes to the beauty and strength of the whole. The nuances of communication, the delicacy of empathy, the courage of vulnerability, and the resilience in the face of adversity all intertwine to form a harmonious pattern. From this perspective, the way we honor and value the uniqueness of each individual, while simultaneously strengthening the unity of the whole, emerges as a central pillar. The recognition of individual contributions, nurtured by sincere gratitude and expressed authentically, creates an environment where everyone feels seen and appreciated, forming the bedrock for more resilient and enriching connections. It's an invitation to celebrate differences as instruments of strengthening, rather than as barriers to be carelessly overcome. As we introspectively consider the landscape of our interactions, it becomes evident that hope for thriving relationships cannot be a mere passive wish, but rather an active force that shapes our daily attitudes and choices. The acceptance of the inherent imperfections of human nature, coupled with open communication and a flexibility that embraces change and learning, paves the way for deeper and more enduring bonds. This journey demands constant attention to the quality of our presence, a commitment to healing and restoration, and an appreciation for the journey of mutual growth. As we approach the conclusion of this meditation, our accumulated understanding propels us towards a clearer vision of what it truly means to live and nurture connections that reflect love in its purest and most transformative form.